Welcome back to SSG. We're at the Merlin 10K freshly, and we're just finished with the event. And congratulations, Mike Sr. Congratulations to you for making it to the finalist position, number 2. Not number 1, but listen, I made that sound like a bad thing. Yeah, you went through one heck of a field. What I want, first of all, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about who you are.
I'm Michael Maalouf. This is my hometown area. My local here, Southside Gaming, so proud to represent it. And I'm part of Freedom Gaming. Yep. You like I don't know if I call myself the mascot, but it's the grandfather, as you would say. My son and son-in-law started with Lorcana right at the beginning. Never played TCGs before. And it's been a great journey. Love chess. I love strategy games. This fit right into my mold. It's Disney, so I thought, for the family, everybody could enjoy it together. Yeah, and it's been a blast. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's interesting. We've had a few people in the top 8 who have a very similar story to yours, where they're like, either they haven't played TCGs or they're always kind of interested in it, or split by proxy through somebody else that have been playing it. I love the number of people who are breaking into these events at very, very high levels with quote-unquote no experience at TCGs, because especially you talk about chess, you play chess. So how translatable are the skill sets in chess? Like, talk about some of the things that you translate.
Well, it's strategy. You're trying to plan 4 moves ahead, and sometimes you're given a hand and you've got to work around that hand.
Yeah.
And your opponent does things that you got to react to, but you've also got to think, okay, what's going to happen next? What do they possibly have in their hand on turn 5, 6, or 7? Yeah. So it's definitely. And in the same thing for chess moves, you're thinking, all right, they move their pawn and move their rook, and now they're setting up to try to get me a checkmate. So how do I avoid that from happening? And then how can I play offense and defense at the same time? So it's very, I love that type of strategy. So
yeah, it's crazy how much you can try and look at. So we know that you brought Amber Steel Songs, or is that what we're calling it these days? Steel Songs?
Yeah.
I think it's fair to all of them.
There's quite a few songs, so I would say yes.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So you have a lot of practice with all kinds of decks. What was it about this combination, this deck, that made you say, hey, this is the right call for today's?
I just feel like in the meta right now that this has the answer for almost everything, and particularly this build. The hardest part is when I can't play the songs. So my last match was a war heavy deck, and that does hurt. I know. But I also have other, I play in Bianca, which gives you, a little bit more of some muscle, and Lords. But the deck just felt good. Yeah, it felt right. I tweaked it. I picked it up about 2 weeks ago and played in an ICO, completely brick, made some changes from there. And there's still a chance you're going to, and that's it's a card game. So there's a chance you're not going to draw the cards you need. You may not have all the ink you need, and you have to play around that. And sometimes it's a card game, so you draw another card and there's your answer right here. So I wanted to find something that has as many answers as possible for what's going on out there today, and I feel like this does. I added two bare necessities to go along pretty much with Pete. I didn't feel like Pete gave me enough against Be Prepared, against locations, and different things like that. So the 2 bare necessities actually felt really good. It's just the right amount. But the 2 Criminal Minds, I think is just right for your sharks, your Mauis, with some of those bigger tanks, and it's Igabo. So that felt great. I went down to 2 Daisies and two Prince Naveen's. Prince Naveen's been today in particular has been phenomenal. He could, play a Zeus or play a whole new world, especially against a big Pete. In Amber in the Emerald Steel. Playing that against a big Pete is great because you're not exerted, you're not seeing. So it feels good. So for me, I went across and came back to being comfortable with this right now today. Now tomorrow, so that could change. I'm known to my team makes fun of me because I'm that guy that you never know what I'm gonna play. I'm no, that's me. Yeah, and I love that part of it. So I love the deck building part. And I also love the interaction. I love playing at locals. I love the community. For me, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, I have some specific questions for you. I got two questions in particular I want to ask you, especially for those of you that are watching if you watched the stream, you probably noticed some themes. So the first card that I'm going to ask you about is actually not in your deck, but appeared a lot on strains, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on it. What we saw a lot of that I was very surprised by was Grab Your Sword. So what are your thoughts on Grab Your Sword? What is the role for it in this deck based on on the matchups you have? What are your vibes on?
I think right now you have enough answers without Grab Your Swords.
Okay,
I do. Sure, with Prince John, Diablo, maybe some of the hyper aggro decks, I still feel like you can control enough without having Grab Their Swords. Yeah. I was playing it for a little bit. Going back to Vegas, that was one of the main changes I made I was in an Emerald Steel, yes, heavy deck, but not. This was after Bucky and all that. But I put Grab Your Swords in there. Yeah, shift a Tinkerbell, remember, on more, or shift Robin Hood. Play a Grab Your Swords was devastating. Yeah, it was funny because I was playing against some Amber Steels and playing some cuter decks. So I didn't think anybody played that anymore. So there was a time and place for it. Is it time to bring that back? I feel like you have enough answers. That's honest. So because I played it for a little bit in this deck. I was playing one or two of. I kept going back and part of it. It's uninkable. Yeah. Can be stuck in your hand. You don't have a way to sing it in. It's not something you want to hard cast. Absolutely. So fair enough. That's my answer.
So your answer is we don't necessarily need it, and therefore maybe don't take up the space.
My opinion. Yeah.
So be fair. The next one I got to talk to you. Every match that we saw you on stream, either in one or multiple games of that match, what JDZ or myself or Skinner talked about was the number of whole new worlds in your hand, which was always greater than one. So you have always had at least two,
and sometimes it's bad. You don't want that. It's over. Well, there was one point I wanted to, because Ursula was gonna the 2-drop Ursula was gonna grab something.
Correct.
So I'm like, I'm gonna keep two of these in my hand. Yeah, fine. Grab one. Got another one right here.
It was a very easy play.
So but then when you draw a third, it's like, well, this is all right. This is brutal.
So talk to me about your relationship with the whole new world after today.
Love hate,
because it felt like it's a love punch.
Yeah. So love like hate. Yes. Every time I did play that came in either, especially throughout the day. Now stream is always, I don't know why. Stream's another story.
Yeah, the carry rates
throughout the day. It came into play for sure.
And I love, describing it as a love-hate relationship, I think is perfect. You play it because you have to, not because you want to. That's the way it feels sometimes. And when that's the case, yeah, it's like, oh, I need you. Because the whole thing is, when I empty my hand, I then do it, I will empty my hand again, because I'm going to get a whole other Nash. And no pun intended. And so, yeah, that's a big card. All right, so thank you for sharing the data. What I do want to ask you I'm not even asking you. I know you got some things you want to shout out. So right now is your moment to tell the camera, anybody you want to give a shout out to, all the things, all your social medias, everything.
Yeah, so I'm not really on social media, but I'm part of Freedom Gaming. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and you got a Discord down there, South Florida Network. Yep. Gabe's a part of that. It's fantastic on Discord. You guys can get on there. So much good information, great community, deck building, advice, what's happening locals, what's happening nationals with Ravensburger. Yeah, just a great community. And that's my shout out to my wife for letting her come out here and play. Shout out to Southside Gaming, the best place to play in the country. Here's hands down. And shout out to my 6 grandchildren.
Hey, 6 grandchildren. Also, this is the Matt, the finalist highest, the sweet Matt. And also shout out to our head judge here, Ronald, who's been holding it down. Good job, Ronald. Thank you for all the work you do.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And look at this, man. This is beautiful. It's one of I love Merlin.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And Arthur.
Yeah, and I love that Raymond got the draw because Raymond also loves Arthur.
Yeah, he did a great job with this. Shout out to Raymond for sure. Yeah. Great player too.
Fantastic player. And with that said, You got to come out here for the. If we're on YouTube, so make sure you like and subscribe. Check us out if you're not local on social media. We're always posting stuff. If you are local, okay, let's say you are local, you need to be here. We should be here. We run side events. We do all kinds of stuff. The staff is fantastic. We've got our TO Justin, who's killing the game right now, doing all the work to make sure that we have as much fun as we can, and making sure that. So, like, I'll give you an example. We were running this event, and then on top of that, we were running win a box events, and on top of that, we were running enchanted events. If you're not here, you're missing out. Period. Hands down, you're missing out. So be here, hang out. Any fun things you do here?
Yeah, I gotta say, because locals, you have no reason not to be here. Yes, there's Justin, the guy playing the finals, flew out here from Maryland. I played 3 guys from Arkansas today, and it was the best of the best here today. So I will say that this was a very challenging day, and you learn things throughout the day. We learned from each other, so it was great experience.
I believe the count was 8 golden Mickeys in the room. I think was the count. Zan's got 3.
Okay.
I got to do the math. I forget how many Kendall has, how many R&B. We got to do the math.
But you got to count by individuals.
So, if it's just individuals, is less. I'm talking like total golden Mickeys across like in the room. Zan holds through by himself. We'll do the math out. Like we can take first grabber, but we got to do the math. Top notch people here. Yeah, it's crazy. Kendall Burdett.
Very challenging.
Yeah, very. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you on the next one.